last story, which I think just made me so happy. You
Yes,
know,
it's a real feel-good story.
all of our kids, have things that they like. And some of our kids have things that they obsess over or we call perseverate on.
Hmm.
And a lot of people think that that's a negative. I have a much harder time buying into that. I think that when we can responsibly help them to grow and flex, and it's like a pizza dough that, okay, so they only are interested in, I was just talking to a family the other day that's trains, and you're familiar with this, Nancy. That's like their kiddo only wants to talk about trains. That's all they want to do, and it's driving them bonkers. We've all been there to some degree, but when we can take that and if it's only Thomas the Tank, can we have it now be about antique trains? And can
Right.
we have,
Can you build on it? Can you take that obsession or perseveration and tease it out into something bigger, which a
yeah.
lot of parents do.
I mean, I look at Wyatt,
Mm-hmm.
and Wyatt is like an incredible artist.
Mm-hmm.
And
And that's started because he loves to swish the paint around. That's a stem of his.
and it's just so amazing the kinds of things that he can paint. I look at Logan Shepherd, who, he did this, and then that turned to drumming. He's a professional drummer
Right.
with CDs out, So, and sometimes it's not that clear cut. My son was interested, like we would perseverate on one thing, and then he, after a while, he would perseverate on the next thing. And but if I think about it, that's maybe a little bit how I have been, that that I would go and do this for a little while, and then I would do this, and then I can see in my son where it's all starting to come together, all the things that he likes, joining together. So
Mm-hmm.
I just think it's important that we feed those things. So here was a little boy in this story, Jackson Maples, who's 4 years old, and he lives in Missouri. And the thing that he perseverated on, are we ready for this, kids? Lowe's. Lowe's hardware store. He was all about Lowe's, even to the point where when he was like having a rough day and that they were just having a hard time, they would say, all right, let's get in the car. Let's go to Lowe's, because it is his happy place.
And
And what I
he particularly loved the mechanical objects at Lowe's, the whir of a fan, the thrum of a washing machine, and the tumbling cadence of the dryer were among his favorite fascinations.
And so he loved to be in the appliance section. They say that it's as if he had stepped in his own personal wonderland. See, this makes me happy because, there should be people in life who get excited about appliances. So they would take, and I love his mom, Shauna, would take him there as often as she could. Well, so Lowe's found out, because everybody in the store just looked forward to seeing him, and it brightened their day. And so they contacted the Lowe's head office, and they sent him like all this cool stuff. So he's got a Lowe's vest now, and they've given him so many things, including, I don't know if you guys have ever done obviously I don't think this is happening in COVID, but once a month they would have a craft that you could go and do with your kiddos, and they had the craft kits and stuff. So they've given him a bunch of those and just made him an honorary associate. And I just gotta throw some love on Lowe's for doing this and making him feel so welcome.
They had some great photographs in the story of Jackson at Lowe's in his safety vest, looking at the various pieces of hardware and equipment. Really, really sweet.
Yes, and they gave him a Lowe's football. I mean, they just gave him a bunch of stuff. He's got Lowe's swag galore. But I think it's more than that. I think, they acknowledge that he's one of them, that he's an honorary associate, and that is what chokes me up. Because for a kiddo to feel that at that age, I think we all want that for all of our kiddos, and to feel that at 4, that's going to help him forever. And that someday that young man is going to work
At
That little
Lowe.
boy is going to be a young man, and he's going to work at Lowe's.
Yeah.
And he's going to be one of the best Lowe's employees that they have, and the customers are going to come in and look forward to seeing him there. This is how life should be. And it is sometimes, and I think that we all need to be reminded of that. I remember when I was pregnant with Jem and had just had Jem at our local grocery store, there was a wonderful young man who had Down syndrome, who he was working as a grocery bagger at our store. And in the period of time that I got pregnant with, had Jem, and but I think we moved away when Jem was like 2. He went from being the bagger, and everybody loved him. Like, I would get in his aisle because he did the best job of bagging, and he was so charming and personable and would talk to us. He was my favorite person. So I would deliberately get in the aisle that he was in, and he would walk you to your car and help. Lovely young man. But he did such a great job that then he became one of the checkout people, was the best, the fastest, but still was charming. Then he became the head checker, and then he became the assistant manager by the time
Isn't
that we
that
were.
a great story?
And I, he was one of the things that I missed when we moved across town. And anytime we would be in that neighborhood, I would like go into that grocery store hoping to run into him, and occasionally would. But that, I think when we can all get in that mindset, I know in other circumstances at another store where somebody was just being trained and clearly was someone, I don't know what the diagnosis was or if there was a diagnosis, but they were having a hard time. And I remember a bunch of people complaining. Um, so, I just hope that people will be like Lowe's was.
Hey, thanks for watching Autism Live. To subscribe, click here. And if you'd like to check out some more of our videos, click here.